First thing on the agenda, are there any requests for bill introductions? Go right ahead.
Mr. Chairman and members of the House Corrections and Juvenile Committee, my name is Alex Falk with Carney & Associates, here today on behalf of the Kansas County and District Attorneys Association. We request the introduction of 24 RS 2770 relating to the calculation of confinement and excluding certain types of incarceration from allowance of time against a person's criminal sentence.
Very good, committee. Any objection to that introduction being requested? Seeing none, we'll make that request. Thank you. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. I am Marley Carpenter on behalf of the City of Wichita and WPD. Request the committee introduce a 24 RS 2711, which will increase criminal penalties for stunt riding, exhibition of speed, and blocking an intersection.
Very good. Question. Representative Carmichael.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Does WPD stand for Wichita Police Department?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Certainly. Any other questions, committee? Any objection to that introduction? Seeing none, we'll get that request made. Ed?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ed Klump. I am here on behalf of the Kansas Sheriff's Association, Kansas Association Chiefs of Police, Kansas Peace Officers. This request is on their behalf. It is 24 RS 2780. 24 RS 2780 has to do with penalties for attempting to elude.
Very good. Committee, objections to that introduction? All right, seeing none, we'll make that request. Any other? Representative Mon. You can do it right there. It's perfectly fine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd request the introduction of 24 RS 2751. This bill would result in automatic expungement of certain offenses when citizens have been found not guilty or their case has been dismissed, rather than requiring them to go through a expungement process that they initiate. Does allow for the prosecutors to object to this and require a hearing, but it's just basically an automatic proactive dismissal when, or expungement when cases have been dismissed. I request this on behalf of the committee.
Okay, very good. You're requesting it, are you requesting it on behalf of anybody or any organization?
Citizen lobbyist Marilyn Harp had asked me to introduce it, and other than that, there is no organization that's asking me to do it. So.
No problem. Just wanted to make sure we have all of our documents in order. Committee, any objection to that introduction? Let's see. Yep. Go right ahead, Nellie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have to be really clear about this, especially in light of the fact that it's printed on the bill now. Are you wanting it to read that you're requesting it on behalf of Marilyn Harp, or do you just want it to be on your own behalf?
On behalf of Marilyn Harp. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks for the clarification. We'll get that introduced. Any other bill introductions, committee? All right. I will just add, as we were looking at bills and looking at schedules and, well, looking at deadlines, it's amazing how quick they're coming. So with that in mind, we really want to encourage people to get their bill introductions this week in. Get them in this week if possible, because we're literally going to have about 2 weeks to get everything else done by the time this week is up. So just a note. All right, with that in mind, we are going to move into final action on House Bill 2522 and ask the reviser to give us an overview of that bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 2522 requires the Secretary of Corrections to prepare inmates for release from their custody. And it also requires them to assist with obtaining certain types of identification documentation and job and education-related documentation to prepare them for reentry.
Very good. Committee questions for the revisor? All right, seeing none. I do have an amendment on this bill. Would you go ahead and get that sent out and circulated for everyone? When I originally had this bill drafted up, this was really my oversight, and you guys will see this in your email momentarily. The requirement was the secretary shall provide an inmate with a certificate of identification for use under KSA, whatever. Well, we already do that. We already know that's in law. My actual specific request was quite literally that inmates walk out of the Kansas Department of Corrections with a state-issued identification. So my amendment changes that to an identification card issued pursuant to KSA 8-1324. And just to clarify, I did reach out to Kansas Department of Corrections, and they are perfectly fine with this amendment and fulfilling it. So just so everyone knows that I did check in with them. That made it out, the emails? Okay. So with that, committee, I will move my amendment. Do I have a second? Second by Representative Smith. Discussion committee. Representative Carmichael.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The statute that is described in this amendment, is that the same statute that provides for the issuance of non-driver identification cards by the Department of Revenue Division of DMV, or is this something different?
Natalie, you want to answer that? Because I believe that is correct, but we'll double check.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, Representative Carmichael, that is the statute that talks about the non-driver IDs.
That is an excellent idea, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Further discussion committee. Seeing none, I'll close on my amendment. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. All right, the ayes have that one. Are there additional amendments, committee? Is there further discussion, committee? Representative Titus.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wonder, with some members of this committee sitting on appropriations and the discussion we had the other day, would it be possible to consider a proviso that requires other state agencies to provide these documents free of charge to DOC? At least as maybe a trial run for a year or two to get a handle on what the actual costs are and bring down the fiscal note, perhaps?
That's certainly something worth considering. I know we didn't ask about that, but it sounds like there's already some arrangements that have been made, so I can certainly check with Kansas Department of Corrections, see if they are actually paying for this service now. But if not, I think that's a very valid point.
I didn't think of it enough ahead of time, but I think it's, if appropriations would at least ask the questions.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think this bill's the right thing to do, and I
Absolutely.
look forward to voting for it.
Yep, I happen to sit on appropriations and can make sure that we ask those questions. Thank you. Anything else, committee? All right. Well, with that in mind, I will go ahead and close, or hold on. Who did my motion? Entertain a motion, that's right. Do I have a motion as it relates to 2522? Got a little confused. Representative Eric Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that we pass HB 2522 as amended out of committee.
Favorably? Okay. Second, Representative Carmichael. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. All right, we got on pass out. Representative Carmichael, Representative Schlingensieben, Representative Martinez wish for their votes to be recorded affirmatively. All right, absolutely, committee. Well, that's all we have on the agenda today. I kind of figured it'd be short. Please take a look at the bills we are working tomorrow, because I know there was a fair amount more discussion on some of those bills, and make sure we have any amendments ready for that. Representative Mon.
Mr. Chair, if I could open up a request for bill introductions again.
Okay.
I had an email that I missed.
Yeah, no problem. Let's return back to a request for bill introductions. Go right ahead, Representative Mon.
I'd like to request on behalf of Kansas Appleseed introduction of 24 RS 2508. This deals with prohibiting the use of restraints during hearings in juvenile court processes. unless the court finds that there's a danger or a specific reason to do so. The bill does make exceptions for when there's certain purposes. In my practice, I never really thought this was a problem, but apparently in some counties, juveniles are always restrained in these juvenile justice proceedings. And so on behalf of Kansas Appleseed, I would request the introduction.
Any objections to that introduction, committee? What was the RS number again?
24 RS 2508.
Excellent. All right, seeing no objection, we'll make that request. If there is nothing else for the committee, we will be adjourned for today.